Whether you're starting a business or growing a business, there is always a chase that occurs. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes you have no idea what it is. We're about to explain some things to look out for, so hang on because we're going for a ride. All right, we're talking about the
The
chase.
chase. The chase.
The chase, the big chase, Johnny, and I'm going to put you in the hot seat today, the way you've put me in the hot seat on a number of occasions.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little bit about what the chase is and what that could look like, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper, maybe to some pain points. But let's start talking. What do I mean when I say the chase, and why is it something that's prominent in so many businesses?
First, you got to say that the word chase can mean a few different things. You know, there are some people might be chasing goal after goal after goal after goal, and they're never satisfied. And oddly, it's actually connected to the same, I feel, reason that this other chase, which is the one we're talking about, which is this a chase to be a part of something that's happening in your industry, whether it's your peers and being a part of, being recognized as one of them kind of thing, whether it's how clients who haven't used you, wanting to chase how they see you, all of these things, even something as simple as how you look visually in terms of, how big is my studio? How many employees do I have? Look at the cameras that I have, right? There's a chase. There is something that we're looking to. It's almost like chasing external validation. And the only way I know that is because it happened years ago and now I can recognize it because you never see it while it's happening. Everyone around you does, but you don't see it. Brian saw it. Um, I think that's what the chase is.
Let's talk a little bit about what that looked like, because I got to tell you, when I look out there at some amazing talent in our market and other markets, I look at their client list, I look at the quality of the work they're doing, I look at you talk about the image, their self-image. I look at all that and I sit there and I'm like, yeah, they,
Yeah.
you know, almost like a line from a Wes Anderson. You've got it all figured out, don't you? That's what I see. But what do you see? And how do you define really the details of what that looks like? Only because I think that's going to be important to identify the next step, which we'll get to.
Indeed. I'll just utter this Wes Anderson line. I think you're right about this place. And a big shout out to anybody who can put the reference to that line in the comments below. I think you're right about this place. Um, yeah. Oh man, I think what you're getting at is how does the chase manifest itself in your daily life and in the operations of your business, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is where it is. It's subtle and it is evil. It's destructive. It can be.
Why?
So I'll tell you why. Number one, I think there is we tend to think of the that old term of the grass is greener, and we only see the rosy picture of something, but once we actually get over the fence to the other side, we realize, exactly what's happening under the turf and all of that to make the grass green or that it's actually not real grass at all. There's a lot of that that's going on. We don't always have the full story. We only see what we get to what's been curated for us to see, right? But we begin to make all sorts of assumptions of why that is. And in our case, in production, we might be chasing other companies and wanting to be a part. We hear that they got together with this company, and they had drinks with these guys and all this, and we're like, well, we're not part of that conversation, or why weren't we considered for this project? And you spend so much of your time, and this is where the danger happens. You spend so much of your time trying to figure out the why. Why weren't we considered for that? Or why aren't we part of this conversation? Why don't we have a seat at the table? Instead of doing the actual work that will make a name for your company. And it's insidious. It's you don't recognize it when it's happening, but there's actually some deep impact that chase is actually having for you. you start to look at your stuff with a hypercritical eye, in a negative way, that is not about the success that you yourself have had. It's about how it compares to someone else. When all along there's an amazing story of the work that you've done. We've been in business for 22 years, and I can tell you great success stories behind all of these different videos that we've done. But sometimes you might look at the video and it might not be maybe the polish of this project over here. The reality is it didn't need to be, and it was uber successful because of what the video was. But if you're solely looking at a particular methodology of production and you want to be in it, but you're not doing the work to actually get into that, it can cause these issues of self-doubt. And that self-doubt, man, that manifests itself in so many ways. I can tell you that I think there were meetings that I avoided because I didn't want to be found out as this fake, as this imposter, which is awful, right? 'Cause that means you're not going on certain sales calls, or just not even throwing your hat in the ring for certain projects. Or
Wait a
worse
minute,
yet,
you did that? You screwed us?
these are things, I think these are just happening subconsciously. Marketing, right? We also, well, we rely on word of mouth and referrals, and it worked great for us. But how much better would it have been if we actually had done some marketing and put our points of view out in the world, versus maybe doing marketing that is just simply regurgitating what those who have succeeded, at least from the onset, the picture of success, and you're just regurgitating what the rest of the industry is saying versus your actual point of view. Yeah. That's the place where you have to get yourself to that place of acknowledging that you're an expert in this, you're an authority, you know this stuff, this is what you do, and you have all these many years of success for your clients, and they love you. So why are you chasing that? It manifests itself in these little ways that you don't even realize that they're happening. And it's, I use the word insidious. I think that's exactly what it is. It's destructive. And, but yeah, and sometimes the chase is even trying to land, it's like, oh, if I only had that client. That's a good one too. If I only had that client.
It's funny because I look through our history, and I'll be blunt. There are projects I look out there and I say, wow, if only I could produce to that level.
Yeah.
But I always find something that they're not doing that I do differently. And I think, we have to remember, regardless of whatever industry we're in, from creative to accounting, we serve a niche. Understanding that niche and embracing that niche has allowed me to not give in to the temptations of the chase. It doesn't mean I don't want the jobs. It doesn't mean I'm not trying hard for the jobs. But somebody who fills up an entire truck or two full of gear showing up to light the interior of a house has a different niche than what we're hired for. And I can love their work and love it and say, wow. Now, what is my work doing? Who is it impacting? What is the budget for it? And when you start looking at all that, in a way, there's a bit of a chest thumping as well. It's like, look what I did. Look what I did for these people. And this is not my world. This is my world. And I know that people who make films don't, occupy our space. They can't occupy our space. The budgets aren't there. They would cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what we can do is keep it on task, on track, deliver a great product that does its impact. Even tell clients sometimes, like, we can do this, but you're better off doing something more like this.
I think there's a bit of the show is The Great Reframe, right? The Great Reframe. And this is where we can reframe the reality of what this is. And I'll make 3 comments, which I think might lead to that conversation, Brian. There are 3 realizations that I made for myself, so you have to kind of really talk about, if you're the one chasing, then what are the 3 realizations that you make for yourself, right? So number 1 is the people you're chasing are also chasing. So if you notice why so many websites in the production industry all look the same, it's because everyone is chasing the other and just saying, well, they have that, I got to have that. And there's a constant chase. The ones that you're chasing are also looking up to someone else going, why can't I be in that conversation? Why can't I be there at that table with them? Why can't I work with those high-end clients, right? That's number one. Number two is you have to make the recognition that the type of company that you are and want to be, right? And celebrate the successes that you have and how you uniquely bring a successful outcome to your clients. That's the part to celebrate, right? I love it when a client says, hey, we're still using that video years later. It's the greatest thing we've done. I love it. That makes my heart sing, right? And back then it was great, but it was also like, oh, that's really awesome. But man, I wish I could, you're still chasing some other things. That's kind of number two. And with that, what kind of if you want to do those sort of, let's call it high-end projects, because usually that's where the chase is happening, right? They have really high-end clients, or you look at these really beautiful polished piece of work. I'd love to create that, but also realize that there is an entire ecosystem that has to be in place to actually support that. Brian mentioned the trucks of gear, and there's also large crews that have to be used to produce those. So what business do you want to be as a production company? And you yourself, what do you want to manage, and how do you want to see your role? Because, if you want to be a better cinematographer, and this is number three, if the chase is, man, they're a great cinematographer, or man, they're a great editor, are you simply just sitting around looking at their work and looking at training and tutorials, or are you actually going out and doing the work? That's the next thing, is do the work and be original. Like, get out there. A little tough love for myself, I think, in this one. It's like, you want to be a better cinematographer, Johnny, then pick up the camera and go off and shoot. Not just in your backyard, but go out there and plan a trip. Spend a day. You're going to go filming this and you're going to tell this story. Or bring some lighting into a location and practice some lighting setups and all that. Like, if you're, instead of comparing, instead of chasing, do the work to be better. There is no magic pill. There is no just by association. You have to do the work to get better. For us, a lot of this is we understand ourselves now. We know who we are. We know who we are as a company. We know who our best customer is and the types of projects that we want to wrap our hands around. And so now we're starting to market ourselves in such an exciting way, because we know all of this. We don't have to care about what others are doing. This is just about us and our customers and how we bring a lot of value to this world. So those are the three things that I think are the big revelations for me. And I don't know, Brian, how we take that and, and where we go from there. But that was the kind of the growth moment for me.
The growth moment's important. We are so good at telling our clients where their niche is and how they need to message to that niche. How often do we do that for ourselves? And the chase is part of that. Chase the clients, chase the work, chase the this, chase the that, but ultimately know your niche. It's okay if you want to grow out of your niche, but recognize what that niche is. Understand it, embrace it, and move forward. Because if you're trying to chase a conversation that's not happening, then you're not really doing good by the work or by the client. So it's critical. It's just critical to know who you serve. You want to expand beyond that, that's fine. That's okay. But if you live to expand beyond that, that's a problem, because you're not servicing the space you're in right now. And we've heard it, Johnny, through business, and this will come up, I'm sure, throughout. I think this is the first time we might mention it here now, but who's your first client? Who is not who the first client of the company is. Who's your first client? Who do you work for? Who do you serve? Yeah. And the answer is the people you work with. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there and distracted and not helping your teams get better and better and better, then mic drop and walk out. It's done. You can't be chasing that if you're not nurturing your internal workings.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. So let's reframe. Let's reframe the chase.
Okay.
And I think first and foremost, you have to sit and recognize and determine, what do you want for your production company or for your career if you're a solo freelancer or doing this on your own? what do you want and where do you want to go? That's number
So,
one.
in connection to number one, you then have to know what the niche you currently are occupying is and what the niche you want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't identify those two things, and they should hopefully be the same, but they may not be. But if you can't identify that, then this whole first point is moot.
Yeah, and actually, that's a great point. And here's the thing. Sometimes you're looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not necessarily about the type of client or the type of work per se, but the skill that you bring to it. So for us, we're deep storytellers. Like, that idea of this documentary style and really kind of coming up with these just really emotionally connected pieces, that's really where we're strongest, right? We can do anything, but when you really sit and listen to what you've been doing and understanding where your actual strength is, if you can connect those two, that's even better. For some people, it's literally the act of cinematography. It's, I'm a great editor. It's, man, I can light anything. I'm an amazing gaffer. That's what they're chasing. They've determined that that's their chase, and they are going to keep doing the work to get better at that. For us, it's not necessarily about a particular technical aspect of it. It's more about story. So once you determine that, it's very easy to determine what the success look like in that. And so that's number one. Determine who you are, who you want to be, and what the success look like for you. What would make you really happy and successful in that endeavor? Where is your true sort of superhero power? Where does that really lie? Get to know that first. Then I would say number two is learn to celebrate your successes, right? Instead of comparing it to other people.
Perfect.
Celebrate, man. Like, you did that. If you help the client achieve something, regardless of how small or how big, celebrate it and understand the role you had in helping someone else succeed. And it's powerful. And then number three, and I think this is the hardest one, is do the work. It's easier said than done, but I think you have to do the work. You got to get out there. One, you got to do the marketing. You got to network with people. Spend the time that you were spending looking at other people's either reels or, wowing at the clients they have on their website or whatever. Use that time to start building out your thoughts and the things you want to share with others, and maybe learn how to build yourself a little sales funnel that can get people to want to work with you just by, sharing emails with you and that sort of thing. Just get into sales mode and just start making conversations with people and getting to know them. Spend the time that way. That's a more productive way to use your time, and it will actually mean a lot more to you. It will help you get into a better state of mind versus the self-doubt that the chase can actually lead to.
So here's
I would
the
say that's number
toxicity.
3. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, and I'm sorry to have jumped in there. Here's where the toxicity comes into play. If you're constantly chasing that which you are not, forget about what you want to be. You're chasing that which you are not. You are letting down the people you are working for now. Period. You're letting down those clients. Yes, maybe you can do better. Thinking about that while you're in the middle of their project and wanting and yearning for that is not going to help this project. What helps this project is everything Johnny was pointing to. Everything Johnny was pointing to helps this project. The focus, the get rid of self-doubt, etc. But the chase absolutely 100% undermines the effort you are putting into your client, and they deserve better than that. If you're true to what you're trying to accomplish, they deserve better than that. So it's toxic. It slowly poisons the well, and it's to be avoided at all costs. And maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but I really think all of us owe our clients so much more. I'm not saying they don't owe us on occasion, but we owe them more than being distracted by what we can't do for them.
I think we've said everything you got to say about the chase. The chase is it's the hidden It's the little secret. It's the thing that is happening with everyone in our industry. Everyone is chasing. We have to stop it. Stop chasing. Do the work. Be a better version of what you do. Like, be better at what you do. Put the work into that. Put your focus into your clients. And we promise you it'll be a better outcome all the way around. And with that said, subscribe to our channel. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. Leave some comments below. Let us know how we're doing. Could we be doing better? Are there some topics that you'd like to see us cover? Hit it down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for being here with us.
Stay safe, stay healthy.